All right, everyone, welcome back to K&A Football. This week, as you know, for many of you, the fantasy football playoffs start this upcoming week, which is a very, very big deal. Kate and I are going to bring you our very, very expert analysis on some of that. We're also going to walk you through our top 3 plays of the week, as always, and then recap all of the action that you may have missed and preview what is coming next week. We're very excited to have you along. Welcome to K&A Football. All right, Caden, welcome back. How did all of your fantasy stuff turn out this week? Did you have any big stuff that needed to happen for you, or were you already a lock from the start of this week?
So yeah, I'm in 4 leagues, as you know. In 3 of them, I had already clinched the playoffs. In our dynasty league, I needed to. I had already clinched the 1 seed, but I was playing Sue Ellen's team this week, and Sue Ellen. We don't really like Sue Ellen in that fantasy league, so I was like, if I won, I eliminated Sue Ellen, and Sue Ellen was not making the playoffs, and if I won, if I lost, Sue Ellen was in the playoffs, and I beat Sue Ellen. Sue Ellen put up a good fight, but I beat Sue Ellen in that one, and I made it in all of them. And then the one other league, I needed to either win to get in, or I needed to lose, but then have more total points than my dad, who was sitting at like 20 less points than I had or something like that going into the week. And I just went ahead. I barely squeaked out a win on Monday Night Football last night. And so I won, and I actually catapulted all the way up to the 6th seed. So I am in the playoffs in all 4 leagues. So that's pretty good. What about you?
So I had only clinched the playoff in 1 of my 5 leagues, before this week. I managed to do enough to get into the playoffs in every single league. So, hopefully something good happens. Hopefully I win a championship in at least one of the 5 leagues. But I didn't know where I was going to fit this in, so I guess this is the best time for it. I want to tell you a little story, Caden, a little story about the drama, the excitement that happened in one of my leagues. So, for the sake of their, I guess, safety.
Identity. Oh.
Yeah, identity. Don't want to rat him out too much. But in a league with some of the guys in my hall here, some of my friends, there were 2 guys that had already clinched the playoffs, so there were 2 playoff spots left, and 3 of us that were able to make the playoffs. It kind of looked like I was a lock because no matter whether I won or lost, I was so far ahead in points that I was pretty much safe to go ahead and make the playoffs. There's 1 spot, 2 guys, and for the sake of their identity, we'll call them, I don't know, Simeon and Ethan or something. And so Simeon was going to win. If he wins, he's in the playoffs. He has an 80% chance of winning, but Jamar Chase is left to play. And as the night wears on, we see that Jamar Chase is actually doing really, really well. And we realize that if Simeon winds up losing and Ethan, whose kicker is Brandon Aubrey, is able to score 9 points, Ethan will make the playoffs and Simeon will miss if Jamar Chase can just score enough points to force Simeon to lose. And as the night wore on, Jamar Chase just kept scoring more points, and Brandon Aubrey was doing just enough. And let me tell you a fun little story. At the beginning of the night, Simeon, 80% chance to make the playoffs. 90% chance to make the playoffs, sorry. And by the end of the night, sure enough, Jamar Chase scored enough points. Brandon Aubrey scores 9 points. Ethan makes the playoffs, and Simeon is out. And Ethan made the playoffs by 0.26 points. That is how close it came down to. It was absolutely wild. The drama was very intense. It was a great time over here. The game last night was way more entertaining with that going on.
So much more. I think every year the game right before the playoffs is always so dramatic and full of action because of fantasy. I saw you peeking behind the camera. Is Mr. Missed the Playoffs by 0.26 points sitting in the room with you right now?
Mr. Missed the Playoffs by 0.26 points is, in fact, in the room with me. He was very distraught, but...
My condolences to him.
Yeah.
That is one of the worst ways to happen. And it did. Jamar Chase, like you said, did have an incredible game. So I think without you even knowing, maybe you did, I don't know, but Jamar Chase is on one of our top plays of the week. So if we want to jump into that right away, great segue, Austin. Our first play this week is going to be at the very end of that game as well. Jamar Chase and the Bengals are tied 20-20 here in the fourth quarter with very little time to go. Joe Burrow throws a short little route, and Jamar Chase does the rest. So, Debbie, if you want to go ahead and roll this clip, I'm sure this play right here killed so many fantasy teams. Jamar Chase takes it, turns around, and takes it all the way for a 40-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and the guy in the room next to me, I do not condone sports gambling in any shape or form, but that touchdown hit his parlay, so we heard screaming from the room next door.
Did that touchdown win the fantasy game as well, or was it already over at that point?
It was already pretty much over at that point, so that one didn't matter as much.
Yeah, that won my brother his game as well. He's in the playoffs, or his league was weird. One of his leagues, their playoffs already started last week, so bye weeks were a factor, which is dumb. But he had Jamar Chase, and he was going up against, I think, Rico Dowdle, down 16 at the start of the night, and that touchdown right there won him the game. So, all right, and our next play of the week is from a teammate of Jamar Chase back when he was at LSU, another dominant wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. Him and Sam Darnold combined for an incredible all-around play as they lead the Vikings in this one, 14-13. This is what happens, Debbie, if you want to roll it. Play starts, and Sam Darnold's kind of running for his life, runs all the way left, cuts it back up the middle, and then launches a bomb to a wide-open Justin Jefferson. I don't know what happened with that DB, but Justin Jefferson takes it for a 52-yard touchdown. That DB just looked silly trying to make up lost ground. As he just
he just fell over. There was no contact, nothing. Just
if you see it, they have an alternate angle of just the DB running after him, and it is comedy. I don't know how an NFL defensive back is making that type of a play.
And I have Justin Jefferson in one of my leagues, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's been since week 8. Since he scored a touchdown. Like, it has been a hot minute since he's found the end zone. So that was fantastic for all of us fantasy owners who were forced to start him after a little bit of a dry spell with all the bye weeks going on. So glad to see him get that touchdown for sure. And I think we'll talk about it later, but Sam Darnold, incredible day.
Definitely an uncharacteristic season for Justin Jefferson. Still good. Not a bad season by any means, but for Justin Jefferson standards, not what we've seen the last couple seasons, but still a great season nonetheless. And then our final play of the week is going to come from another wide receiver, another great young wide receiver. Puka Nacua makes an incredible toe-tapping catch in the second quarter of this game. There you go. Matthew Stafford airs out, throws it. An incredible toe-tapping catch for a nice chunk of yards, and the Rams went down, took a massive lead early in this game. The Bills came back late and made it a game, but we'll get to that one. We won't spoil it in case you didn't watch that game, but definitely a incredible catch by Puka, and he keeps showing week in and week out why he's one of the best young wide receivers in the NFL.
Absolutely. All right, so the first game that we're going to talk about today is obviously the Thursday night game. The Packers and Lions. I was hoping that this would be a really great game. A lot of my friends were getting together, watching this one, hoping it'd be a high-scoring affair, and it was and did end up being a little bit higher scoring. It was a little bit slower than I was anticipating, but the Lions did end up walking away with this one, 34-31.
Yeah, the Lions they maintain first place in the NFC North, and I mean the Packers they fall to 9-4, but the top of that division, Packers, Lions, and Vikings, they're the three teams that are kind of the cream of the crop in the NFC, minus the Eagles. But Jared Goff had a pretty good day, threw for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. The talking point of this game was Dan Campbell's decision to go ahead and go for it on 4th down late in this game, because it was 31-31 with only about 40 seconds to go in the game. They're about the 25-yard line, so obviously chip shot field goal, you take your lead. Packers would have about 30 seconds to go down and try to tie it, but instead he decides that he wants to go for it on about 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and go and get the first down and then try to salt away the rest of the time and kick a game-winning field goal. And that's exactly what he did, and that's exactly what happened, because the Lions ran a play. Jared Goff actually fell down on the 4th down play. He still managed to get it to David Montgomery, who ran it in and then got the first down, salted it away, and kicked the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, obviously, ridiculous decision from Dan Campbell. No one else in the league is making that decision. And the only two people I can think that would make that decision are Kevin Stefanski and Nick Sirianni. And in both cases, it wouldn't have worked out for them, and it would have been awful. But because it's Dan Campbell, because it's the Lions, of course the play works out for them. Jared Goff, like you said, stumbles, falls, still gets the ball to David Montgomery. Is able to get it forward for the first down. Lions are one of the most fun teams to watch in the NFL right now. They're an easy team to root for, a lot of fun. So I'm obviously hoping they finish the season strong and then make a deep playoff run.
Mm-hmm. And one last thing that I want to say is Josh Jacobs is so annoying. I cannot stand watching Josh Jacobs, and honestly watching the entire Packers, because first of all, Josh Jacobs, he's all right, but they give him the ball every play, it seems, and he doesn't do that much with it. He had 18 carries in this game for 66 yards, but then he punched in 3 touchdowns. So he looks like he had a phenomenal day, but if you're carrying the ball 18 times, you need to get more than 66 yards. I don't care if you're playing the Lions, dude. It doesn't work, and they're just going to keep giving it to him, keep giving it to him, keep giving it to him. It's like it's frustrating watching the Packers, because it's just boring runs with Josh Jacobs, it seems. And when you have such good wide receivers and you're just pounding it with Josh Jacobs to get 2 yards every carry, it's like very, very frustrating to watch, especially when you have Jordan Love on one of your fantasy teams.
But ignore that.
Yeah, that part of it. Seriously, though, it is very annoying to watch. So.
All right, the next game that we have here is the Browns and Steelers. I wish that I could talk about this game, but to be honest with all of you, I didn't watch too many of the games this week. I have finals this week, so I've been studying very, very hard, trying to keep the grades up.
School over football
make the
is
last
crazy.
push till Friday.
Putting school over football is crazy.
I've put football over school the entire year, just this 1 week out of the year. Got to switch it up. But Caden, I don't know if you have too much to say on this game, but something that I'll talk about because I think that it's hilarious is during this game, I don't know what the score was. The Browns had 14. The Steelers probably had 20, 21. I don't know what they had. But the Steelers punt the ball away. Browns are getting the ball back with a chance. And Kadarius Toney, you might remember him as Mr. Butterfingers himself from the Chiefs last year. Sure enough, he's the return man for some reason, and Mr. Butterfingers drops the ball. He muffs the punt. Steelers recover, and that ends the game. There's nothing else the Browns can do. Today, the Browns cut Kadarius Toney, so they waved him goodbye. They'll probably pretend like it had nothing to do with the fact that he muffed that punt, but he hasn't done very much all year and does not deserve to be on the team anymore. So not a very disappointing loss.
No, he doesn't really deserve to be on any team, but the Steelers got a much-needed win, got back on track. They obviously lost to the Browns a couple weeks ago in the snow, so they moved to 10-3. They have a big game on Sunday against the Eagles, but the Steelers are still sitting at the top of the top 3, I believe, in the AFC right now. So they're right there with the Bills and the Chiefs. I mean, obviously the Chiefs still hold their own destiny and are leading that conference very soundly, but the Steelers are right there that if the Chiefs would slip, the Steelers could try to go ahead and take that 1 seed from them. So, yeah, Jameis had another solid day. I mean, 212 yards and 2 touchdown passes is not bad by any means, but yeah.
All right, next one we'll talk about is the Saints and Giants. Again, I don't have too much to talk about, so Caden, you can take this one. The Saints ended up winning this one 14-11. Caden, if you have any fantastic insights, you let me know.
I really don't on this one. This is probably going to be a shorter recap for this game especially, but I mean, yeah, Saints go on and win 14-11, but I don't have much, hardly at all, to talk about. The Giants just shot themselves in the foot over and over and over again, and it came down to a field goal as time expired to have the Giants send the game to overtime. And the Saints blocked it, so the Giants obviously lost, but kind of the story of that game, I think, would be before the game, actually, when a plane flew over the Giants stadium with a banner. Did you see this?
I did not, actually.
Oh,
I saw something about it, but I didn't see what the banner was.
There was a plane that flew over the stadium and had a long banner on the back, and it said, like, I don't remember exactly what it said. Debbie's pulling it up. Thanks, Debbie. I'll let you read it. Mr. Mara Enough, please fix this dumpster fire. And then, so that's pretty funny to do at the Giants game. But, yeah, ultimately not too much to talk about with this game. Two pretty bad teams, and yeah, that's all there really is to this one. I know after the game, Malik Neighbors was asked about the plane or something like that, and he said, all I'm going to say is I did not pay for that plane, which no one was accusing him of, and it kind of raised a little bit more suspicion of maybe he did pay for the plane. So who knows?
The next one we have is the Jets and Dolphins. Obviously, the Dolphins are looking to make a little bit of a push here at the end of the year. They're very far behind. They need a lot to go their way. So they do wind up at least getting this one, so they win 32-26. The Jets, really cannot get anything together this season. I talked about it a little bit last week where questions are being raised about, like, do the Jets even want to move forward with Aaron Rodgers? Does Aaron Rodgers want to move forward with the Jets? What is Devontae Adams going to do in the future? And obviously, like, if they were to win moving forward, some of those questions would be quenched. Of course, you can move forward with them if they start to play well, but losing these games don't matter all that much anymore. If they were to have miraculously won out, maybe a lot of things could have gone their way and they could squeak into the playoffs, but at this point it is a done deal. The Jets are not going to be going to the playoffs. They're officially eliminated, so obviously a lot of questions to be asked and answered this offseason as they move forward.
Mm-hmm. And Aaron Rodgers honestly had one of his better games, throwing for 300 and almost 340 yards and a touchdown in this game. Obviously, no Breece Hall, so you got to wonder if Breece Hall plays. Is this a little bit of a different outcome? But this has been the story of the Jets all year. Honestly, they've been close in a lot of their games, but just ultimately not enough. The Dolphins kicked a field goal to send it to overtime, got the ball first, and marched down the field and scored the walk-off touchdown. Tyreek Hill in this game looked... Every week, he's looking more and more back to form. He got 115 yards in this game and a touchdown, looking more and more and more like Tyreek Hill and the person we expected him to be at the start of the season, why he was drafted so high in fantasy football leagues. So, like you said, the Dolphins could try to make that push and squeak into the playoffs because when their team's healthy and when they're playing in a warmer weather, they're a very dangerous team. All right, so the next game here on our list is going to be another Florida team. We got the Jags going against the Titans, and holy smokes, this was a boring game. The Jaguars won this one 10-6. The Titans led this one for a majority. It was 3-0, I believe, at halftime. Then I think it was 6-0. I mean, 10-6 is a slugfest. And honestly, on Red Zone, I saw about 0 plays of this entire game. I'm trying to recall any memories of this game because did we see a single touchdown, Debbie? I don't remember. I mean, there had to have been a touchdown, but I'm trying to see who scored. Tank Bigsby scored a touchdown in this game. I mean, Holy smokes. If you're a Titans fan or a Jaguars fan and you had to sit and endure this game, I am very, very sorry. Will Levis throwing for a whopping 168 yards, while Mac Jones threw for 220. Yeah, not much to say about this one. Really a slugfest on both sides. But the Jaguars get a win, move to 3-10. So now you got 3-10 teams in that division. So, wow. I really don't know what to say about this game.
Yeah, I'll ask you 2 questions about this game, and then we can move on. First off, what happened to Travis Etienne? I feel like he used to be someone, and now I haven't heard his name like all season. And
He's
also
just fallen off. Oh, I'll let you ask this.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're good. What do you think the chances are that Doug Peterson is the head coach of the Jaguars next year?
I think, to answer your first question, Etienne is just not good anymore. They just don't give him the ball anymore. They think they have found something with Tank Bigsby, but Tank Bigsby, when we're talking about the whole thing with Josh Jacobs, he had 18 carries in this game for only 55 yards. That's even worse than what Jacobs was. Yeah, it is worse. It's quite exponentially worse, actually. And Etienne, he was healthy. He had 4 carries in this game, 20 yards. That's 5 yards a carry. That's not bad by any means. I don't know why they've stopped giving carries to Etienne. I don't know why everything has gone to Bigsby, but they see something in Bigsby that nobody else in the world sees. So they're going to keep playing him, and Etienne's going to sit the bench. And when it comes to Doug Peterson, I think that there is about a 0% chance that he's the coach next season. I think they're just waiting for the season to be over and then start over. I mean, obviously, keep some of your guys there, but I think in terms of coaching, they have to move on.
Why do you think that the one season, I guess like last year, was so good for them in the middle of all of their bad seasons? Was it just like some crazy fluke that they happened to win, or was it just like?
Yeah, it was their first season with Doug Peterson. They really came on at the end of the season, and obviously he squeaked in and made the playoffs and made that great comeback in the playoffs and won a game. And then the next season started off hot and then fell apart at the end of last season, and obviously have struggled incredibly this season. But I don't know. I truly have no words for how to describe it. Trevor Lawrence hasn't played well. He's been injured as well. There's no words to describe the Jaguars and their fall off. I can't put my finger on anything. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. What do you think?
I have no idea. Like, I was just curious because, like you said, it's like just bad season, one bright spot, bad season, and so it's like maybe it's like the reverse head coach firing effect. You know, where it's like you have a new head coach, and so all the guys are excited because they don't have to deal with the old guy anymore, and so they play well. Normally, for some reason, when a head coach gets fired in the middle of the season, guys are fired up, don't know why, and then they play really, really well. So, no idea. Maybe it's just a weird. Maybe the Jaguars should hire a new head coach every single season, so that way they get that every time, and just have a carousel of coaches. All right, we spent way too much time on that game for literally no reason. Next game is the Falcons and Vikings. We alluded to it earlier. Vikings, crazy day. They win 42-21. Falcons are struggling a little bit. They started off a lot better than they have been these last couple of weeks, but the Vikings, we've talked about it all year long. They have quite a good defense, and then Sam Darnold went for 5 touchdowns today, or not today, but on Sunday, and that obviously contributed to their win for sure, but also absolutely fed fantasy teams this week for people who, for some reason, I don't know what inside information you have, Caden, because I noticed in one of our leagues you picked up Sam Darnold.
I did.
Why did you do that? What inside information did you have that said I should pick up Sam Darnold because he's going to rock the world with 5 touchdown passes?
I wish I could sit here and say, I know Sam Darnold is going to throw 5 touchdowns in this game. I know he's going to go nuclear and have 347 passing yards. But to be completely honest, my thing was Lamar Jackson's on a bye. Jaden Daniels is on a bye. Crap. I need to pick somebody up. It's Sunday morning. And I go on and I look at the available QBs, and I saw he was playing Atlanta, and I was like, you know what? Atlanta's been sputtering out of their minds lately. I'm going to go Sam Darnold. And that was as simple as that, and it turned into someone who I might keep on my roster for the rest of the season because that was phenomenal. Although Jaden Daniels and Lamar, he's probably not going to see the starting lineup for me, but maybe just to keep him away from other people.
I was going to say, as soon as you feel like dropping one of those guys, you let me know so I could sit there and snipe them.
Yeah, seriously. And then Kirk Cousins on the other side of it in his revenge game, threw for 344 yards, but another 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So that brings his total to 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in the last 4 games for Kirk Cousins. He is sputtering out of control. Conversations are getting hotter and hotter every week of, is it time to bring in Michael Penix? Is it Michael Penix time? I think it is. I think your season is over if you keep playing Kirk Cousins because of the way he's playing. But the Falcons came out yesterday and said they're still going to roll with Kirk. So we're going to see what happens. It's going to be interesting because Michael Penix, definitely a solid player, drafted number 8 overall. In our Dynasty League, Austin, you're allowed to have 3 quarterbacks. Because you start 2 of them, all right? Obviously, you know that. For the viewers, we can only have 3 QBs. I got Jaden Daniels, Jameis. Thank the Lord I have Jameis because my other QB is Kirk Cousins. I'm the 1 seed here in the playoffs. I am truly... Wait, how much fab do you have?
I'm not going to... I mean, you could look. I have $70 worth of fab.
Oh, shoot. Why did I say anything? Okay, I don't know. Whatever. I'm too far gone.
I know how much you have, and it's 25. So I'm just going to...
23. Don't disrespect.
Okay, I'm going to put 24 on Michael Penix as soon as...
No, I'm saying I'm not going to pick him up this week, but I keep pondering the idea of at what point do I pick up Penix because I'm like, okay, what if they bench Cousins and then I don't have another QB because I can't pick up Penix? But if I pick up Penix too soon and then one of my other QBs goes down and then Kirk Cousins is still the starter, then I'm cooked in the playoffs. It's a really hard situation to be in. But no, I'm not picking up Penix this week. Am I?
He was going to pick up Penix this week. Now he can't because he knows that I'm going to... Yeah,
are you going to pick him up? Because you got to drop somebody then.
No, I'm not picking him up. I
was going to say. Exactly. It's so if you check the waivers tomorrow morning, if Penix is still there or if Penix is not there, just know I was sitting in my bed just like tossing and turning, thinking, do I pick him up or do I not? This could be a league-altering move.
Could be. Decisions. I don't know. You got decisions to make. This is what a manager does.
I'm hoping tonight at like 11:59. No, waivers go at like 3.
Yeah.
Crap, I'm not gonna be
2:45.
I'm not gonna be awake. But all right, hoping this happens at like 2:45. They announce that Penix is now the starter. I hope that I like have to pee in the middle of the night, so I get up and I come back and look at my phone, and then boom, Penix is now on my team. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that we spent a long time on these 2 games. But yeah, we can move on now. Debbie's angry. Oh, Debbie is very angry. Okay. Oh, we're gonna move on to another game. This should be very, very short, Debbie. The Panthers go on and hook on the Philadelphia Eagles, who we both claimed was me when sorry, Debbie, you need to stop talking and I'm getting distracted. The Eagles, who me and you both claimed last week, were the number 1 team in the NFL, and the Panthers, who have been playing better football, almost beating the Chiefs and then almost beating the Bucks in back-to-back weeks, go to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. And the Panthers, for the 3rd week in a row, almost got it done. Bryce Young had another pretty solid day. Panthers got the ball down by 6 with about 3 minutes to go at their own 2-yard line. Panthers needed to go 98 8 yards down the field against the Eagles defense. That's not happening. Everyone knows that's not happening. Debbie, if you want to go ahead and pull up the clip that I'm going to talk about. Yeah. So the Panthers are moving down the field. They have a third down and about 11 from their own 1. And Bryce Young makes an incredible play, throws it, they get to about the 50, then they keep moving. They get to about the 40-yard line of the Eagles. Oh my goodness. Is Bryce Young going to do this? A 99-yard drive against one of the best defenses in the NFL? He almost beat the Chiefs. He almost beat the Bucs. He throws a beautiful deep ball. Debbie, do you have it ready?
I do not.
Debbie does not. I'm going to keep stalling. He throws a beautiful deep ball.
Keep going. I'll bring it up.
That's a great stall.
A
beautiful deep ball. The ball that he threw was beautiful, and it was also thrown deep to Xavier Legette.
No, we can't spoil. He just
Oh,
one of
never
the
mind.
players on the
To
team.
not
he
Xavier
throws-
Legette.
It was a beautiful deep ball, Austin. Did you see this beautiful deep ball?
The one that Bryce Young threw to someone who is not.
that. It's
Xavier
next
Legette?
play. Yeah, it's that one, Debbie. Okay, here we go. You're gonna see the beautiful deep ball right now. Debbie's gonna pull the click. Thank you, Debbie. Up. Where's the where's the
it's not
beautiful
up
deep
here.
ball? What is happening? Debbie, you're getting fired. Oh, here's the beautiful deep ball. This is not the beautiful deep ball. This is the play before. No, but we'll show you. We can show this other beautiful ball. What a catch. What a throw by Bryce, okay? And then we're going to see the beautiful
That was
here's the-
big. You needed that first down. Here we go.
Here's the beautiful deep ball to Xavier Legette to go ahead and win the game. But Xavier Legette has stone hands and dropped the ball, and the Panthers lose 22-16. Let's just say I'm not the biggest Xavier Legette fan at all anymore. If you're in the NFL, you got to catch that. And I'll be at the Panthers game in 2 weeks, and let's just say when they're announcing the team and Xavier Legette is called, there will be some boos from wherever the heck I'm sitting. That's all I got to say. What do you think?
I'm sure that would have been a much bigger deal if, you guys actually had the chance of winning anything. So
Really? Because
That
we have the
too.
same exact record as the Browns, and we've looked a lot better than the Browns. We look like, in the power rankings, we've moved up to 22.
that's
we have
really
respect.
not great still.
That's for what
But-
we've been the last 2 seasons? Yes, huh?
But what I'm saying is, at this point, I'm not rooting for the Browns to win any more games. I know that we're probably going to mess up whatever draft pick we get, but I'm not upset when we lose anymore. I'm like, okay, fine. We lose, better draft picks. We'll mess it up, but
That's
at
a
least we have
loser
optimism.
mentality. That's a loser mentality right there.
Caden, we have won 3 games
No.
this year.
That is a loser mentality.
That's crazy.
All right, on the other side of the ball, the Eagles, though, I think last week we said that the Eagles one of the best teams in the NFL. They have no weaknesses. Their weakness is only the kicker. I still kind of agree with this. However, obviously, you do almost lose to the Panthers. The Panthers have looked great the last 3 weeks, so, put some respect on their name. However, you did almost lose to the Panthers, and the only reason you didn't lose is because Xavier Legette has stone hands. So, Caden, I saw something the other day that said that the Eagles were the best team in the NFC. And I am hard-pressed to believe this. In my mind, the Eagles are very, very good, but I really can't place them anywhere above second because in my mind, I do think that the Lions are the better team in the NFC at the moment. Do you agree with that, or am I off my rocker?
I don't think a take of Eagles versus Lions could call anybody off of their rocker, but I do still think that the Eagles are the best team. I think they have such good dynamic weapons that they could throw the ball to, and also potential MVP candidate Saquon Barkley running the ball, and their defense is so good. Yes, the Lions are right there. I think they're easily 1A, 1B, but I would still give that notch to the Eagles at this point. I think their quarterback plays better. I think their defense is better. And they're very healthy while the Lions are very injured right now. But I mean, that's just it's such minute differences that I could see an argument for either way. But I myself still think the Eagles.
All right, fair enough. All right, yet another game that we probably shouldn't have spent as much time on, but so much for the shorter episode. All right. Next game is the Raiders and Buccaneers. Caden, I will let you talk all day about this one. And by all day, I mean you have 3 minutes. Go.
I was going to say, I don't even think it's going to take 3 minutes. The Bucs won 28-13. It was close for a little bit. The Buccaneers jumped out to a very early lead, and then the Raiders really were clawing their way back, but they had a lot of turnovers in this one. Ultimately, Aiden O'Connell ended up getting hurt, and I think he's going to be out for the season, I think I saw.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Raiders, their season's been over. They actually catapulted themselves to the number 1 overall pick in the draft, which is great for the Raiders. But yeah, they moved to I believe, what are they, 2 and something, I believe, right? Yeah, 2-11. So the Bucs actually took first place in the NFC South with this win, and the Falcons lost. So big game for the Bucs, but that's what we expected in this one against the Raiders.
Yeah. All right, next game is going to be the Seahawks and Cardinals. This was unexpected blowout. Seahawks win 30-18. Caden, you have any comments on this one?
No, it's a little bit disappointing because the Cardinals were on such a hot streak, and then they lost a couple in a row, and now they've lost to the Seahawks. So that's what they saw a couple weeks ago. They were on a hot streak, then they went on a losing streak, then they went back on a hot streak. So maybe we're going to see them hit another hot streak, but who knows? But they lose this one. The Seahawks look primed to win the NFC West right now as they take a bigger lead over the Cardinals. I think now second-place team might even be the 49ers at this point. But, yeah, Seahawks win this one. There was a little bit of dramatics in the fourth quarter in this one, but not too much as they still won this one by 2 possessions.
All right, next game will be the Bears and 49ers. Yet another blowout. The Bears lose 13-38.
Yeah, 49ers did what they were supposed to do against the Bears. I know the 49ers have struggled this season and have their health issues, but they won this one handily. Their defense played great. Purdy played amazing in this game. He did get injured, looked like a really nasty injury, but I think he's going to be okay. Isaac Guerendo managed to get hurt, so now McCaffrey's been hurt, Jordan Mason's been hurt, and now Guerendo's hurt. So they're going to be down to their 4th string running back, which is insane. But yeah, not too much to say about this. Not too much to say about a lot of these games. I know we don't have the most in-depth analysis, but these games this week, I mean, we mentioned it last week that these games this week, we were looking ahead to week 14 and we were saying, wow, what a putrid slate of games. And it really delivered because these games were terrible. I mean, 10-6, 14-11, and then the rest are just blowouts. So there's not much to say about any games, except for this next game. The Bills traveled to the Rams, and the Bills struggled early in this game. The Rams jumped out to a massive lead, and then the Bills charged back. Josh Allen put the team on his back. They come back, make it a game again. The Rams go ahead, did just enough at the end to pull this one out 44-42. Great game. This was the game of the week by far. Josh Allen, 342 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. I think he had 3 rushing touchdowns as well. He did. So 6 total touchdowns for Josh Allen. He was already the leading candidate for MVP this season, just catapulted himself up the list even more. The Bills lost this one, but I mean, you can't be too upset. I mean, the start of the game, yes, but he played so well in this game.
Yeah. Obviously, Josh Allen absolutely goes crazy. Oh, let's see what are we seeing here. Oh, block punt. Yeah, I mean, this probably could have made our top plays of the week, but I didn't make them, so take that up with someone else. Josh Allen drops a 50 bomb this week for fantasy. I unfortunately was playing him, so yeah, very sad. But I still made the playoffs. But that loss did seal me a 6-game losing streak. So
yeah, what I wonder in this game is what happened to James Cook, because he wasn't injured, but he only totaled 6 carries in the entire game. 6 carries for 20 yards in this game. and then only had 2 catches. So James Cook, one of your better weapons on offense, you're not giving him the ball, and they got in a hole early. So, I mean, that could be a part of it because James Cook is one of the more dynamic players on your team, and you're not giving him the ball, and I know that hurt a lot of people's fantasy games. I know that hurt Sue Ellen against me, but hopefully
Stubborn
they
a
can
little
get him
bit.
back involved. Yeah, hopefully they can get him back involved next week because he is a difference maker for that team.
All right, next game, last 2 games here, is the Chargers and Chiefs, and you'll see from the name, Jim comments and said, hate on haters, stay away from the Voodoo man. Fair enough, I suppose. But the Chiefs win this one, 19-17. Yet again, they find themselves in a position where they need to go down the field. They need a game-winning drive. They need to score a field goal to win this thing. Down 16-17. They go down. They're on. What string kicker are they on, Caden? Is it their 3rd string kicker?
I believe so.
Yeah, on their 3rd string kicker. So you're thinking to yourself, all right, we got to get close. We got to make this easy for this guy. Mahomes makes a weird play again where it looks like he's going to get sacked. Looks like there's nothing going on. He dumps it off to Travis Kelce, who's just beyond the first down line. He goes down. Chiefs bleed out the rest of the clock. 1 second left. Here they go. 3rd string kicker. Can he do it? The answer is obviously yes because they won. But the ball starts tracking way, way, way left. And I'm like, shoot, they might actually miss this. Except no, because the ball doinks off the upright. Chiefs score. They win 19-17, clinching the division as well as the playoffs as they did last week. Absolutely insane. I don't know how they keep finding ways to win like this, but they do. They are the worst. Yeah, here it is. Tracks left, hits off the upright, bounces in. The Chiefs are one of the worst division winners I have seen in a long time. I'm not saying worst division winners isn't because obviously we have the NFC South, and so you get teams with losing records that win the division. But to clinch it this early and to just get so lucky in all of these games, it's incredible.
Mm-hmm. I will say, not anything about this game, but going back on the last game, I'd like to make a correction. The Rams are actually 2nd in the NFC West, so they're only a couple. They're closely behind the Seahawks, so the Rams could go ahead and get that division going back. I know that was a ways back ago, but had to correct that. So, but yeah. And then our final game here was a Monday Night Football game between the Bengals and the Cowboys. And as we saw in the game of the week, the Bengals had that game-winning touchdown with Jamar Chase and won this one 27-20. I just got a funny message about Bryce Young. Sorry. The Bengals won this one 27-20. And the Bengals have had a lot of disappointing losses this game. Or not this game, this season. They've lost on missed kicks. They've lost on missed 2-point conversions. They've lost on anything you can imagine. And they finally had the ball bounce their way in this one as late in this game, 20-20, the Cowboys blocked their punt. But then the Cowboys touched it as it was rolling away. The Bengals then jumped on it, got the ball back because of it. And that's when the Jamar Chase touchdown happened, and they won this one 27-20. So Bengals improve to, I think, their 5th win of the season. And the Cowboys lose again. Micah Parsons was beside himself after the game. He was so mad about the punt. He was so mad about the entire outcome of the game. But, yeah. I mean, we both picked the Bengals. We expected the Bengals to win this game, but definitely a very entertaining Monday night game, especially when it comes to fantasy football.
Yeah, and we weren't really I saw this game going one of 2 ways. The first way being that the Bengals just blow the Cowboys out of the water because the Bengals' offense is just so explosive, and the Cowboys' offense really doesn't have they don't have Dak Prescott. They don't have a lot of ways to get the ball spread around. Or I saw it being a very close game just because the Bengals' defense is just so very, very bad, and that did in fact happen where it was very close. We saw the Bengals win just towards the end of the game. So obviously the Bengals need that. I mean, neither of these teams are making the playoffs. It doesn't really matter all that much. But an entertaining game for the last game of the week. Better than I had anticipated it was going to be. Oh, here's the Simpsons broadcast.
It's so
of the
weird.
game,
I think
which-
that's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know what we need to do, what we need to say to the NFL.
we
I
at
don't know what
K&A.
petitions we need to sign, but I will sign anything to make them stop doing these weird games. Like, oh, it's the Simpsons cast. We're going to watch the Simpsons play football now. Oh, it's the Nickelodeon cast. We're going to have SpongeBob and freaking
Yeah.
Patrick Starr call the game. Like, why are we doing this? Let's just watch football. Kids already like football, okay? Like, we don't need to do this whole thing. Anyway, I'm getting upset. So that does it for our games of the week. Not our games of the week, our recap of the games. We're now going to make our predictions for the upcoming week. But before we do that, I need to tell you about our friends over at K&F Construction. K&F Construction has been serving the Northeast Ohio community for over 20 years, specializing in composite decks. K&F Construction takes the time and effort to provide the service and product you deserve for your home. You can call K&F Construction today at 330-575-2465 for a free estimate. Again, that's 330-575-2465. You can also visit kftex.com, which is linked in the description. K&F Construction, let us build your dream backyard. All right, so, Caden, let's go ahead and make our predictions for the upcoming week. In case anyone is curious, Caden has predicted 144 games correct. I have predicted 133 games correct. So I have 4 games to make up 11 spots. So we need to start
4 weeks.
getting
4
a little
weeks.
bit-
4 weeks.
I think what did I say?
You said 4 games.
Oh, my bad. 4 weeks. That would be impossible. 4 weeks to make up 11 games. So I need to start making some more interesting picks. I won't. I'm scared. All right.
Wait,
Caden.
before we keep going, the punishment is it's in the works. We're thinking about it. We're working with it. So we'll let you guys know more about it when we finally, get everything finalized. But Austin, it looks like you might have to bear the punishment again this year. So
We've already revealed what the punishment is, right?
I know it is. Yeah, but
So
I
is
just reminded
everybody.
the viewers. Yeah,
Okay.
They
They make
already
it
know
seem
what
like
the
it's like some.
punishment is.
Does it seem like it's some big secret that no one knows? Like we've said it.
Oh
all
yeah,
the
no, I'm
time.
saying with the restaurant and everything. Like we're trying to figure out where Austin's
Oh,
gonna go
okay,
with the
like the
bear, all that
logistics
type of
and
stuff. Like
everything.
yeah,
Okay,
it takes a
okay,
little bit
okay.
to shoot.
Okay.
It's not so simple.
No, it's not going to come out like the minute the season ends. Like,
Right,
yeah, it's gonna.
right.
It's going to take a minute.
And it'll probably be in the summer. So
All right. So, sorry. That's my bad. I have not coughed this much all week. So, my apologies.
Right. That Debo Samuel making fun of needs to.
Oh my. All right. So speaking of Debo Samuel, Caden, who do you have for Rams 49ers?
Dude, I don't know. I'm really struggling with a couple of these games. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think their offense is clicking right now, and they have more to play for because they're second in that division. So I'm gonna go with the Rams.
I agree with you. I'm going to go Rams. I'd like to go 49ers because obviously I need some games to make up, but I do think the Rams are going to win, so I can't pick against them here.
All right, next
All
game
right.
is the
Yeah, go ahead.
Cowboys traveling to the Panthers. What do you got for this one?
This is a tough one for me, actually. Normally I'd quickly say Cowboys, move on with my day. But the Panthers have been playing really, really well recently, and the Cowboys have definitely been struggling. I'm going to go with the Cowboys here.
Wow, that is crazy. This one required no thought. Panthers have played 3 of the better teams in the NFL in the last 3 weeks, close every single week. And last time I checked, the Cowboys are not a top 3 team. So I'm going Panthers, and I'm very confident about that one. So I got the Panthers in that one. Austin, you can go ahead and take the games.
All right, so the next one that we have is the Commanders and Saints. I am going to go with the Commanders in this one. Who do you have?
Yep. I also have the Commanders.
Chiefs and Browns. Who do you got?
Chiefs.
Yep. Bengals Titans. I'm sure you have to think long and hard about this one.
I got the Bengals.
I do as well. Dolphins Texans.
This one is a little more thought-provoking. I'm going to go with the Dolphins in this one.
I'm going to go with the Texans. I think it should be a good game. The Texans have been struggling as of late, so I'm not super confident in picking them, but I need to make up some ground, so I need to start making some picks. Jets Jaguars.
I have the Jets. I think they've been playing better lately. I know they keep losing, but I think that they're playing better, and I think the Jets will get this one.
No, I agree. Buccaneers Chargers.
I have the Chargers in this game. I think they're playing really well. I know they lost last week to Kansas City, but coming off of a tough loss like that, I think that they can get this one.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I really, really like the Buccaneers, but the Chargers defense has been playing really well, and their offense has for sure been clicking. Colts Broncos.
I got the Broncos. This is a rematch of that Thursday night game from a couple years ago that was like the worst game in NFL history.
Yeah, so hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Patriots Cardinals.
I got the Cardinals in that one.
I do as well. Bills Lions.
I have the Bills. I think that they had a really tough loss against the Rams last week, but that one's really a coin flip for me. And I feel like the Lions could be just taking everything lightly, not taking them lightly, but they're winning every single win. Like they gotta lose some. So I'm going with the Bills here. I think that they are the better team, and Josh Allen is playing phenomenal football right now.
I'm gonna go with the Lions here. I think this is gonna be a really fun game. I'm really excited to watch this one. Hopefully, it's close. Steelers Eagles.
I have the Eagles in this one. I just said that they're the best team in the NFL, and I stand by that. I don't think the Steelers have the firepower to win this game.
I agree. Packers Seahawks.
I have the Let me make sure, because I made my picks before I came. Yeah, I do have the Packers in this game. I don't think the Seahawks are that good. I cannot believe they're winning that division, and I think the Packers are a lot better. I think they need to not give the ball to Josh Jacobs 18 times, and yeah, I think the Packers are going to win.
I agree. Bears Vikings.
I got the Vikings. Not much to be
I
said.
do as well. And then Falcons Raiders.
And I have the Falcons. I know they've been sputtering out of their minds, but the Raiders are maybe the worst team in the NFL, so...
Yeah, no, I agree. Before we move on, sorry, to our fantasy predictions for this upcoming week, I want to talk about the playoff picture really, really quickly. In the AFC, the Chiefs are the 1 seed at 12-1. The Bills are the 2 at 10-3. They're both on top of their division, obviously. The Steelers are at 3. They're on top of their division. Texans are sitting at 4. They're the first in the AFC South. Then the Ravens are sitting at 5. They're the second in AFC North, and they're 8-5. The Chargers are at 6, second in AFC West. Broncos are at 7, third in AFC West. So 3 AFC West teams in the playoffs at the moment, and then it drops off very drastically. The Colts are 2 games behind the Broncos, and they're at the 8 spots. They're on the outside looking in. In the NFC, things are a lot closer. The Lions are currently the 1 seed at 12-1. They're obviously first in the NFC North. Eagles are number 2, 1 game behind the Lions, first in NFC East. Seahawks are at number 3. We talked about that. They're first in the NFC West somehow. Buccaneers are leading the NFC South at 7-6. They're the 4 seed right now. Vikings are second in the NFC North. They're the 5 seed. 2 games behind them is the Packers, sitting at number 6. And then the Commanders sitting at number 7, second in the NFC East, and it stays pretty close after them. The Rams are the 8, they're 7-6. Falcons 1 game behind them. Cardinals, same record as them. 49ers, same record. So very, very close in the NFC. There's a lot to play for moving forward. It's going to be really, really entertaining as the season wraps up. So really excited to break it all down with you guys. Stay tuned for just 1 second. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with our fantasy picks. All right, everyone, welcome back. As we've done the last 3 weeks, Kaden and I are going to take you through our picks for this week going into fantasy. Obviously, really, really big. It's the fantasy football playoffs. So for a lot of teams, this week is the last week for them. They're going to play, and if they lose, it's going to be over. So it's important to make the right decisions. As Kaden and I talk about this, if you guys have any comments, anything you want us to talk about before we wrap up the episode, be sure to leave a comment so we can get to it. Kaden, would you like to start?
Sure thing. I'll go ahead and talk about my quarterback start of the week. I have Tua going up against the Texans. Tua's played a lot better ever since his injuries, seemingly gotten a little bit better, it seems, every single week. And last week against the Patriots, he had against the Jets, I'm sorry. He had a great week. Tyreek Hill is seeming to get better and better every week, getting back to the form we expected him to, and he's getting Jalen Waddle very involved as well. Achane, it's kind of been, I guess, the theme with the entire Dolphins. They've just gotten better offensively as the year's gone on. Jonnu Smith has really come into his own. Tua's stats through his last 16 games. That's a lot, Debbie. Debbie just pulled up his stats for me. But 16 games is a lot because that obviously dates back to last season. But Tua definitely, I think, has potential to boom this week against the Texans. And the Texans are a team that can put up points, so it could end up being a higher scoring affair.
I like that.
There we go. That's what I like to see, Debbie. Debbie just put up Tua's stats since returning from his concussion. Tua's got 15 touchdowns to 1 interception, which is incredible, actually. I didn't realize it was that high. Almost 2,000 yards and 76% completion percentage. So Tua's played great since his concussion. So
my quarterback pick for this week is going to be Bo Nix. He's played very well this season, far surpassed my expectations, and I think the expectations of most people. They are playing the Colts, who allow the second most passing yards per game. So I expect Bo Nix to do very well. Obviously, they have a lot to play for. They need to stay in that playoff hunt. Colts, obviously, they have a lot to play for too, so this could become very competitive very quickly, but I think Bo Nix is going to have a good day.
Mm-hmm. My running back start of the week now is Chuba Hubbard against the Cowboys. Jonathan Brooks, the backup to Chuba, just tore his ACL last week, as well as Raheem Blackshear leaving that game with an injury. So right now, that running back room is just Chuba Hubbard, and they activated, I think his name's Miles Boone. Exactly, a nobody, to be his backup this week. And he's going up against the Dallas defense that has really, really struggled, especially against the running back. And Chuba, the only running back now seemingly on that team, and playing for a Panthers team that I think is going to beat Dallas, and a team that's going to be running out the clock late in this game, as well as using him in the beginning of the game to really gash open the score, because Dallas's rush defense is one of the worst in the NFL.
Yeah, I actually also have Chuba Hubbard for this spot. Did not know you were going to pick him, so I was surprised actually that you picked him. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Obviously, with everything with the running back room, Dallas they allow the third most rushing yards in the NFL. So, and Carolina's been playing very, very well recently. So I think that he's going to have a good day. Probably even score a few touchdowns. So I like that pick.
Me too. My wide receiver start of the week is, I'm going to actually go back on one that I made a couple weeks ago, and it worked out. So let's do it again. I got DJ Moore going up against the Vikings. I said start him against the Lions a couple weeks ago on Thanksgiving, and he played great. Now he's going up against a Minnesota team that he played just a couple weeks ago, and I believe he had a pretty solid week against them. I don't exactly recall. I can pull that up while you're talking, but he's done great his last couple of weeks, and just like his situation against Detroit a couple weeks ago, I think they're going to be trailing in this game, and Caleb Williams is going to be looking for his number one receiver, and once again, that number one receiver is DJ Moore. And so when you're trailing, when you need to come back, you throw it to your guy, and that's DJ Moore, and I think he has potential to have a great game this week.
My wide receiver pick this week is going to be Zay Flowers. I mean, he's obviously a fantastic wide receiver. Biggest concerns for him are going to be his attitude moving forward. But they're going to be playing the Giants this week. Obviously, the Ravens should win this one very soundly. So I think that overall they're going to have a great day. Derrick Henry is obviously going to do fantastic. Lamar Jackson is going to decimate that defense, and I anticipate that Zay Flowers is going to have a part in that as well. So he's going to be my pick this week.
Awesome. And yeah, DJ Moore, last time he played Minnesota, put up 26 points. So he did do pretty well. So I would look to do that again this week. And then for tight end, obviously you got your guys like Kelsey, you got your guys like Brock Bowers and Trey McBride. But those guys, since tight ends are so scarce, I went with the guy who isn't one of those top guys because of how scarce the tight end position is for fantasy football. I went with Jake Ferguson, the tight end for the Cowboys. He's going up against the Panthers this week, and the tight ends have had their successes against the Panthers defense as of late. The Eagles, Calcaterra, I don't even know his first name, got in the end zone this week for the Eagles. I mean, the Panthers aren't very well defending the middle of the field, and that's where a lot of the tight ends eat. So look for Ferguson to have a pretty good game through the air, receiving the ball down the middle of the field, and maybe even get into the end zone on Sunday.
For my tight end pick, I'm going to take Jonnu Smith. He's been playing very well the last couple of weeks. Like you said, Tua has been getting better and better, and he's obviously a very safe option. Big guy to throw the ball to. He didn't have a great week last week. He had very few points through most of this game, but he was able to get a receiving touchdown to catapult him all the way to 8. But that is an anomaly in his scoring. He has put up double-digit points most week, sometimes even into the 20s. So he's going to be my pick this week.
Awesome. So that's going to do it for this week of K&A Football. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week for Week 15 recap. Austin will be in studio, and it'll be our Christmas special. So we will see you guys next week.